Canning meat with glass lids. These are the old antique canning jar. I mean, these are regular old canning jars, and these are the antique glass lids. I've been using them for I don't know how long now. They work great. The ones with the Ball makes one. I don't know where it's at. It's kind of dished in the middle right here, which holds the water. But the ones that are domed, you want to find like the Presto and the Presto lid here, the Atlas lid, Atlas, Presto. I mainly use those lids. But the kind that's got the hump on the top, you don't want the kind that's dished out in the bottom. The reason why that is because this thing here acts like a spring. And you tighten the jar up, that little spring tension that just pushes up right here, it acts like a spring holding it down. And when you use these jars, you can't buy rubbers for them from anybody except for Weck. And Weck's got their small jar lids, here, rubbers. There's one right there, it's got these tabs on there. And what you gotta do is take a pair of scissors and just cut the tab off. Okay? Now that right there on the jar fits perfectly. And then I set them on top of here, set them on top of the jar. This is meat we're canning here. This is ham. I did roast beef too. I'm gonna have roast beef in the jars too. And then I can kind of hold my finger down, keep it in place, and start screwing this down. And the secret to using these jars, okay, you don't want to tighten them real tight, because that rubber puts such a great seal on there. You gotta just lightly snug it. And when you take them out of the canner, that's when you tighten them up really tight. You snug them down good then. But they work good. They last long, years. I had some of these canned for 4 years, 5 years. Seal's not no problem at all. There's no danger in these. It's all a bunch of bullshit they try to tell you to scare you from using them. They want you to use those metal lids with a BPA lining on them. And they can go straight to hell as far as I'm concerned. You go through all the trouble to make your food organic as possible, and then you put them in a jar and you cook them with the plastic in the bottom of the lid. With these old lids, if you can find these metal bands, I found them on eBay a while back, a few years ago. And yeah, it takes a taller band. You can't use the regular bands; it won't work. They gotta be taller, because that extra height of that lid counts for the thickness of the glass right here. In a few minutes here, I'll pull some of them other. We got some in the pressure cooker right now. I'll pull them out of there and I'll show you what I'm doing when I tighten them up. But yeah, it works great. They last a long time. You could actually, there's nothing to rust here. It's all glass, rubber, nothing at all. And when I want to take the rubbers off the jars, after you want to open one back up, after you don't store them with the lids on, you take the lids back off, of course. And then whenever you want to take the rubber, get the rubber off the jar, I just look around there for a place the rubber sticking out a little bit. Take a pair of needle nose pliers and you grab a hold of it like that, and you twist it, and you do that a couple times and it breaks the seal and it comes right off. Nothing to it. Works great. But you got, like I said, you can take this thing outside and put it in the ground, bury it, whatever you want to do. Not that you want to do that, but there's nothing to rust. Nothing to rust at all. As long as they're kept in somewhat of a cool place, they'll last for a lot longer than the metal lid kind will. You don't want to get them too tight though. That's just the secret to it. They gotta they'll push that up enough to get the air, the pressure out of the jar when it starts boiling in there. If you tighten too tight, you're gonna have problems. Anywho, that's how you do it. And like I said, when I pull them lemons out of there, I'll show you that. Here's the jars of roast beef I was telling you about we did. And so when you take them out of there, that's when you tighten it down. They don't turn much, but they tighten down a little bit. jars in the middle of the canner because it seems like they get too, boils too much water out of it in the middle of the canner. Three. Four. You got 9 of them, we got 8 of them in here.
You only had 8 in there?
Yeah.
That's what I said. You said you didn't. Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're right, I only had 8. We're gonna put one of those hams in the middle. Hell with it. So each at the bottom holds 10. So if somebody's searching for an alternative way jar lid to use, ooh, that's warm. There it is, the old jars with Weck rubbers. They work just fine as long as you know how to use them.
Smells good.
You can't tighten them up too tight before you put them in there. You gotta let that seal so good that you'll blow your jars up, they'll break. That's roast beef with onions and stuff in the jar, and it tastes great when it's done. Alright, that's it.